been their roadblock that they can't get past event after event, EML finals after EML finals. Falcons always seem to be that team that Team Secret cannot get past. What a moment it would be here to make it to main stage, to get at least top 6 at the Six Invitational. I mean, this would be the time to do it, and they look so good after a flawless group stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got to watch the matchup earlier today, so they sat back. They already saw Consulate, Jesse, which is the craziest part if you think about it. So Falcons have this map open. They're going to go right back there. It's a very strong map for them. Shopify Rebellion were only able to take 3 rounds off of them earlier today. Is that the high water mark for Secret, or the expectations that Secret should 2-0 this and show up on Consulate?
I don't expect a 2-0, Parker. I think this is probably going a 2-1, one way or the other. And given that we've got Fortress, and given what I just watched from Falcons on Fortress, my expectations, if I got to make a prediction, would be 2-1 Secret. But this is Falcons' pick. They came to it for a reason. And Team Secret historically do not love this map either. They've got a losing 2-3 record throughout the season, going back to Reload. They did win it versus Fluxo W7M last week, so that is maybe a strong point in their column. But at the end of the day, Falcons were able to watch that as well. There is VOD footage for both of these teams to look back on. And I don't think, if you're Falcons, you're going to choose to come back to this map 2 hours, 3 hours later if you're not ready to change some things up. You know, they clearly believe in their strat book. They clearly think they can go deep and find something. I really like this Deimos ban from Team Secret. We know how good Shaiko is on Deimos. Solotov even had a really good round on this back in map number 1 versus Shopify Rebellion as well. So I love the Deimos ban. Grim, super standard stuff kind of for Secret, and the defenders as well. Valkyrie and Zombie, just 2 strong choices.
So what is on the line for these two teams as they square off to do battle starting on this Falcons map? Well, as you've heard other broadcasters say across today's show, the winner of this game will make main stage, not in their immediate next match, but in the match after. Why? Yes. Because if Team Secret makes it into the next upper bracket semifinals, and that's a great start for them with a Nitro Cell blowing up Shaiko of all the players to get. That's a big fish for them to land. The loser of Furia versus the winner of this matchup goes to the lower bracket, which will be at the main stage. So their next match won't be in front of a live audience, but if you win or lose that next match, you are guaranteed a spot on the main stage. And yes, you heard us here correctly. Furia dominating Weibo 2-0. And what was a stunning match. If you haven't watched it, I think you could spend a worse couple hours.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back for it. You've been spoiled from the results if you're already watching this game. Of course, Falcons securing the victory in that battle to be here versus Team Secret. But now it's the real test. Now it's going up against your EU rivals to see what can happen. The Nitro onto Shaiko is so important, Parker, not just because he's Shaiko, but because that's your Flores off the board. That's your main tool to get rid of some of these Goyo canisters, to get rid of some of these Denari trips as well. You saw it. They've got good drones here in the hallway, but they haven't actually used any of them to clear things out, and it's doomed for another great shot for a 2-man lead.
A name that I'm certain we will say many, many times over the course of this broadcast gets his first kill, and he trades out a tiny bit of his HP in the process. Everybody's still upright on the side of Secret with a little bit over a minute left in this round, and Falcons have lost 2 of their most prominent points of this spear and the 2 highest rated on their team. Losing Solotov and Shaiko means way more on the supporting cast and Leaky Fact to make up for lost time. They're trying to do that, but they're not really finding much success. As another member of Falcons goes down, Secret's advantage will grow. Brede and EFAC need to work their way to the site. They'll do it without Brede now, and EFAC stuck on spiral stairs as they coalesce around him. He does get a kill right as the round ends, so not a flawless start by Secret, but about as close as you're gonna get.
And Parker, I want to go back to map 3 versus Shopify Rebellion earlier today when Team Falcons took their tactical timeout, and you got to hear Julio, the coach of this team, talk with the squad and call them, frankly, a bunch of individuals. It wasn't a team game that Falcons were playing early in that map. I felt like that's what we got early in this map, too. The Nitro into Shaiko is obviously unfortunate, but every other play was so solo coming out from the Falcons. That swing in through the balcony was very individual. Then Licky back all by himself. myself here as well. Even the two players that were somewhat pushing together over by admin were still taking 1v1 gunfights where there was zero potential for a trade. So something to keep an eye on as this match goes farther along. Do Falcons continue to struggle with some of that trade game, or will they be able to play as a team? Figured it out well enough in map number 1 to secure the win, or in match number 1, I should say. But match number 2, it's a long day of siege for Falcons. Those fundamentals, those basics can start to slip away.
Have to keep your head in the game, have to keep yourself level. The graphic that was shown right before we got into this match just demonstrates the drubbing that Falcons gives this Secret team. Secret have barely been able to beat this Falcons squad. So when we talk about ownership, Falcons has owned Secret in this head-to-head. As of late, that is obviously cause for concern.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to win a Six Invitational, you have to throw all that stuff out the window. You simply have to be the best team, and you have to forego any potential bad vibes you might have or a curse that might have been cast upon you.
Piano exhibition. This was the one bomb site Falcons were unable to win up against the North American team in our first game of the day. They went 0 for 2 attacking here on the mid floor. Bit of a new strategy though. It's fast into the top floor and they trade.
Solotov knew that Savage was there. Shaiko will get a kill as well. So both of the S-named players of Falcons, the 2 early deaths in the previous round, have now gotten on the board. Shaiko's still upright. Solotov will lose his life, and Usis, who had a disappointing first series against Shopify Rebellion earlier today, is still searching for his first kill. Bride will rock the shield and hold on to that defuse kit with Shaiko not too far off. They attempt to pin down these remaining Falcons players, or they attempt to pin down these remaining Secret players that are on the main floor. Leaky Fact will give some coverage as Bride and Shaiko were both over by yellow stairs, but here comes Adrian with tons of intel.
Yeah, they're all down towards the bottom of yellow. This comp from Secret, not seen since the November Major, so it's been a while since they've played this defensive lineup, but it is something that Falcons should have in one of their 200 pages of prep work that supposedly they do print off for every game. Really tight how everyone is cornered in this one side of the map, and Adrian strikes first.
Shaiko's not going to miss that. They overrun Noah, flush him out of his position. Mowgli is down 2. Adrian's actually committed an unfortunate team kill and a bit of bafflement over on yellow stairs. Bride and Shaiko are last 2 remaining. And defuse kit getting down. Shaiko will watch as the pulse now appears with a sidearm. It looked a little dodgy at first, but Shaiko manages to get the job done and an answer back from Falcons as they tie the game.
Reminds me of 2 Roman armies just clashing as they head straight first into each other. I mean, obviously for Falcons, they'll have an idea of what that defensive setup looks like for Secret. It's been played in the past. I think that explosion to the top floor was really well placed. They had clearly identified where that CEO player likes to play and maybe where he'd be looking. The trades were quite good. A little surprised to not see Secret spread out a little bit more on that mid floor. The Pulse obviously down below was kind of their one off-site player, you could say, the one guy that was not clustered around yellow, but even he was quite close enough to team kill at that. So yeah, really just a big smorgasbord of players in the yellow stairs where it ends up going the way of Team Falcons. I think largely thanks to Bride on the blitz.
And Bride doesn't need to rack up kills, neither does Usis for that matter. They've got enough depth on this team to make you hurt, even without 2 of the better flex/support players. And for a long time, Bride's name is often in that conversation of who is simply the best support player.
Oh yeah.
I think you can make a very credible argument that this Falcons team has among the best players in the world on every single role. And the question that trips up a lot of people is, well, if you were to make a roster move on Falcons, who do you bring in? I mean, Europe has had this problem for quite a while. I mean, this was the old Penta G2 roster where, again, it was when things would go bad for the team, you'd have to ask yourself, well, who do you drop? And more importantly, who replaces them? Because it's almost always going to be a step down.
Yeah.
There's a couple players on Secret who are starting to make themselves household names. The big one is June. He's netted a kill in both rounds so far. And he'll be playing on that Goyo over top of the bomb site for the time being.
He's played this position with a Thorn before, Parker. I think probably preferring the Goyo just for a little bit more stall on the site. Maybe a bigger fan of the gun as well. I know the Vector, a huge comfort gun for a lot of players. Myself included, to be honest. I love this gun. We'll see what he can find up on the top floor. It's going to be the blitz entry once again from Usis this time around. So they pass the shield from one support to another, and he's done a great job of clearing so far. There's really been a lot of ground taken very quickly, and Joom has left that position to go down those Visa stairs.
Shaiko's in a very dangerous spot here in yellow. Very quick to get to this bomb site. Just a little over a minute has elapsed at this point. Mowgli roaming above. You saw June was in a very similar position over top of this bomb site. Secret were spread out quite heavily on the previous round. It did not work. They were hunted down one by one. Most of that action occurring over in the CEO side of things. But now it's yellow stairs and beyond. And first launching bomb will go. Savage gets baited into an engagement. EFAC playing that one so well. He's sitting on top of two separate mute jammers, and yet Falcons still new.
Yeah, lots of players on this mid floor to hunt down, but LickyFac is up for the task. Takes down Noah for his second kill of the round, and now if you're Joom or Mowgli, you start to question to yourself, do I need to get aggressive? Do I need to make something help happen? Mowgli baiting a little bit, making himself known, potentially trying to bait someone for Joom, who's hiding in the main entrance to go for a flank or catch someone as they cross.
That shield is still going to be such a huge issue. Secret on the better side of this map and already behind the 8 ball when it comes to this round. Let him go on by.
He just escaped, didn't he?
I know, he did. Play keep away at this point. A pre-fire by Joom knowing that the shield was coming, but all those bullets deflecting off of Uzis will now be in hot pursuit down below. Dodging one of those impacts, keeping Joom busy is great. That means Adrian and Mowgli are the last two standing. They will fully clear out this basement. Mowgli takes down Shaiko, gets Bride as well, turns on over, and goodbye to LickyFac. He gets knocked by the air jab, but can't get out of Solotov's way. Falcons stitch two together and are off to a strong start.
That's the start of a highlight reel, Parker, that is put to bed thanks to the air jab just at the end. Came so close to clutching that one out. If he makes it up yellow, playing above in piano with the Solus, I mean, that is a very winnable position for Mowgli, but that air jab was placed very early on into the round from Shaiko, way back at the beginning. Team Secret started that round, of course, by taking top floor and opening the breach and taking yellow. They really had two dimensions to start that push, and then it was just a job of hunting down those mid-floor players, expecting when that aggression would come through towards yellow, towards Spiral, making sure you caught the aggressive moves, and then continue to hunt those mid-floor players that weren't as aggressive through the midst of it. I think this is a clear sign of two teams that are extremely familiar with each other. Of course, the EML rivals going back and forth.
I think people forget how strong that Italian primary shotgun is. I do, and I don't say players, I mean like the general audience here, because so many people are used to using that secondary ITA shotgun, which frankly is kind of not good. So
yeah,
it can be quite strong, and Solus having access to that SMG-11 as a secondary can easily run a shotgun. Very similar to what we see out of Mute and Smoke.
Well, we will start to repeat bomb sites now as we go to the top floor for round 4 as it reopens for Team Secret. This was the one and only round where they were able to walk away with a victory. Now, bans have come through and they actually removed the Solus. So something to watch out for. Obviously, could have been huge for Mowgli back in round 3, but he won't have access to it once again. For the top floor, though, the bomb site setup is relatively similar. Noah deciding that the Pulse was a bit of a one-trick, and he's going to go over to the Ella. I don't think he would have gotten another Nitrocell with it, so I think this is the more cautious operator pick to come through from Noah. No caution from Savage. The captain's had a few opportunities, but yet to find the opening pick.
Reloading.
Going on the B stream, by the way, is our final matchup of the day over there. If you have any downtime, and maybe Falcon Secret isn't quite your bag. I don't think that anybody would feel that, but we have two inter-regional matchups. Number one is here, Falcons versus Secret, both competing out of EML, and then an NAL mashup on the other stream as Space Station plays up against Wildcard. In their matchup earlier today, Space Station dominated M80. M80 has shown some very, very big struggles, and they've got their hands full now in the lower bracket. And we'll be running through who all makes it to the lower bracket, and when the eliminations start tomorrow, you best know that we will be saying goodbye to some pretty good teams. Neither of these teams in jeopardy of going home, of course. This is the upper bracket. Winner will make main stage no matter whether they win or lose their match after that.
Mowgli caught in a bit of a Goyo trap, so a little bit of damage done to the French player on Secret. Still, this vending hallway is a nightmare to clear out with all these Denari traps. They need to be able to clear some of it with that Flores coming out from Shaiko, but nothing being cleared just yet. Managed to pop some of these Goyos. Good drone inside the hallway. Spots Joom. And he retreats back to the vending hall. So lots of damage done. I don't believe that Flores drone hits Joom. Absolutely not. But starts to clear even more of that utility, and more traps still being set up now for Team Secret.
It's a very calm round so far, Jesse. It's a little over a minute to go, and confronting those tripwires will be the biggest issue. I think Shaiko intended for that first flashbang to hit it, but instead it will flash over towards long desk. He hits the tripwire the second time around. And now from down below, the IQ of LeakyFac finding all of those wires, taking power away from this Team Secret defense. Swing's about to happen at a moment's notice. Secret are now locked up, ready to go on in. Brede the first kill. Falcons will add to it. Brede with several as uses as the focal point. Brede holds the diffuser, not the shield. Savage and Noah fighting from their position, but in a very rough spot. A single kill for Team Secret so far. Falcons looking for the 3-0 at this point. What can they do? Perfect rotation before the attackers. It's definitely on the cards. Noah took out Shaiko in round number 1, but it seems like that was ages ago. 3 in a row for the Falcons. As a single round for Team Secret is the only thing they have to show for it. This is dominance from the French Saudi Arabian team.
Pushes, like
Yeah,
guys.
it's pretty much the same sense. If you guys want, even pick up the echo so you guys can have the info and play and make these aggro plays onto them, you know. They're scaring their pants, that's why they're playing so slow, layer over, you know, trying to take step by step and execute it. We can just not let them go into that last step. If you guys need more info over there, Pulse or Echo, just go for it. And if you guys need more resources so you guys know when they are clearing, Jäger, Wamire, or
We
whatever,
just need pulse, bro. Like we just need pulse. Like these rounds, I feel like they're not doing flashes. They're not doing anything. We like the round piano. We knew the Blitz was pushing, but we're just not having the pulse to actually make the play on them.
They
Also,
are
at least
actually doing
prep
the
something.
default all the time over there, and you guys have the read. We just need to choose something to do and do it, okay?
Okay.
Like even on the piano round, they were going for the default plant after. We know that they were going to do that, so we just react out of it.
Twister maybe hoping for a little bit more action coming out from his players. They know what's being come from Falcons. They know what to expect. They have to just react to it. They have to find ways around it. Playing the pulse could be a good answer. We heard that get brought up in the midst of it. But I've got to say as well, I think Falcons are playing a really good style of siege. Look at this. Use this in LeakyFac, distracting from Spiral. It's the big bad blitz. It's what you're focused on if you're a defending player. But as this Fuses player is rotating through the site, is distracting everybody, it's just a really simple walk-in from Brede, who just goes to default plant spot, finds 2 picks on the opening. I think a 3rd to finish off that round. A very rare 3K from the hard support of Team Falcons. I said in the last series that he's averaging 4.4 kills a map before today's game, which is expected for a player of his caliber. We expect Brede to generally be more focused on planting the defuse kit and playing those shields, but really able to pop off in that last round.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Brede did okay against Shopify Rebellion. He exited that bout with 19 kills and 20 assists, but he had 5 successful plants across those 3 maps. That is nothing to sneeze at.
19 kills in 3 maps is far above his average of 4.4, so that's good.
Four. Yeah, that would be 12. Wow. Yeah. Broke the rule of doing math on stream. Nobody in those 3 maps getting below 16 kills. Uses was towards the bottom. The lion's share of his kills coming in that very first map. Exactly half of those 16. But when you look at overall team stats, Brede still does sit in the negatives. Minus 16. His entry is 1 in 7. The fact that Brede's been involved in 8 entries to begin with across this tournament is really quite surprising. I mean, next closest is Uses, who's been involved in 17, so it does go to show you that over the 132 rounds played by Brede, the fact that 8 of those he's been the main entry, I mean, it's bound to happen. He will find himself on a shield or something along those lines, potentially getting picked early. Brede has been really damn good. 18 plants, which is among the highest here at this event, and I expect to see good things from him for the rest of this Falcons attack.
Server and Tellers is our bomb site, and very rare for Team Secret to go here, but it starts off well. Joom finds LeakyFac to open things up on the kill feed. The one time they played this was earlier on in this tournament against Fluxo W7M. They lost it as defenders, so struggled to really find success on this site. The Monty from Uses witnessing the retreat now for the top floor. Flash comes in from Shaiko as the Piano players drop. And they scatter as soon as they hit Piano. Only June continues to play around this hatch. Shaiko is maybe hunting for something there, but it's Mowgli who cleans them up for the two-man lead.
Falcons had some opportunities to come back from a 3v5, a 2v5, etc. in that Shopify Rebellion game, but it was on a map that they seemed to a little bit less comfortable on. This time around, this is a great map for Falcons, so I do have to wonder what their chances are of clawing this one from Team Secret. Mowgli's the only casualty for Secret, so Falcons now suffering even more damage as Uses and Solotov will link up, and Noah firing from this position finds one before Uses takes him down, but the damage has been done to the shield. Brede and Uses, if you merge them into one player, would still be below 100% HP, so not exactly where Falcons want to be with 20 seconds left. Now it's Savage looking for this opportunity. The same position that we saw out of Noah, and Uses will get dropped by that Scorpion. Caught with the Pokeball. And it's Brede in a 1v3. Who will be the one credited with this kill? It's Savage from the same spots. And a good bounce back from Secret after taking that timeout. That's more like it.
Just a little bit too much to pull back from that top floor roam coming out from Joom, and of course Savage as well playing on that top floor, getting a couple of early picks. It was a jump into the bathroom from Liquefac, which ended up being the opening death, and then Shaiko, I think, just dies on the hatch on a long angle from Mowgli playing down below the Piano hatch. And once you've got that two-man lead, you've got to play perfect, really, Parker, to pull things back. There's the opening, and that jump in after the Monty spots a player right here. The kill from Soltov, a little bit messy. He seems to think the player's to the left, where in reality he is standing over to the right. Could be a miscomm, a little bit of miscommunication, very fast moment there, but it's gonna take a second then for Soltov to readjust his aim, and in that moment he gets shot in the head by Noah. So unfortunate bit of miscommunication coming through from the Falcons. They still retain the lead at 3-2, but after attack timeout, Secret are starting to pull it back.
Yeah, I mean, a 3-3 scoreline would be the best you're gonna get for a defender-sided map. Team Secret have already lost the plot here.
Yeah.
A 4-2 is the bare minimum on the most defender-sided map, but Secret don't really excel on console.
That's true. And honestly, I mean, this is exactly what we saw from Shopify Rebellion versus Falcons a few hours ago, Parker. It was a 3-3 split. We said, okay, you know, not that bad for Shopify Rebellion. They at least didn't lose the half, and then half two came around, and Falcons kind of walked the floor with, you know, walked all over him. That's what I'm trying
You
to say
found the
here,
floors,
Parker.
you found the walking, you found, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
You got there. I mean, my brain still hasn't recovered from that final round of SR versus Falcon. So I feel you on that one. And then, of course, we got to watch the dual spectacles. Fluxo W7M versus FaZe, and then Weibo versus Furia, both of which were pretty interesting matches. Fluxo, FaZe were far more competitive than I thought it would be, if I'm being frank with you.
That was a great
I
game.
expected Weibo Furia to be a deeper matchup, but so she goes.
Mozzie Pest being spotted out by Solotov now. They know how important it is to take this top floor. Again, we do see teams try to shortcut it by just trying to go for a plant, but as shown by it was Surf in the previous matchup, there are very creative ways you can deny a plant while you have that top floor control. So most teams figure that it is essential to get control up there, but I don't know if they'll have the time at this point from Falcons. A lot of pressure on this mid floor. Actually have Liquefac decently deep, only a wall away from the bomb site as the ace starts to breach it open. Now, Uses will make that hole into the site, and honestly, it sounds like it's shot out. It's soft though, Parker, so I suppose they could just sledge in whenever they're ready. This could be an explosive rush.
And Liquefac is aware of what's about to happen, and he's prepped and ready for Joom, missing the opportunity on the Mowgli. But I think that was set up as a bait, Jesse. Sledge the wall, have them immediately follow up on you. Mowgli break dancing. He and Noah in on the fun. Noah gets two, and out of nowhere, they have salvaged this first half. The best that Team Secret could muster was 3-3. That's what they get. It is still a net loss compared to where they should be as defenders on Consulate. The road will likely get harder for Secret, but you got to play with the hand you're dealt. And Secret wasn't dealt a very good hand on a map they don't know very well. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, it's much better than the 5-1 half it could have been if not for that attack timeout. So you got to give some credit to Twister there. Falcons are their final attack. You know, I like the idea, sledge in quickly to the bomb site, make something crazy happen, but you just had too fast of a reaction. Maybe stalled out a little bit too much there in the benches hallway where you got to see some of those entry players come on back down. Mowgli walk down spiral stairs. We got to see, I believe it was Noah, come down the yellow stairs as well. And so once that pinch happens, it's just impossible to try to find all of those players looking left and right. Needed to go a bit faster if you're Falcons. But end of the day, 3-3, not anything to complain about. Really nice shots from Liquefact, even though he didn't win the round.
I honestly thought he had Mowgli dead to rights right there. But
Yeah.
the Scorpion is a hell of a gun in his back in a hurry. Denari is very firmly in the meta at this point. Ella has found good execution as well. If you watch that Furia Weibo game that just happened on this stream, you would have seen JV92 throw a Guzman mine out to stop the plant. It is something that most people, I don't think, consciously think with the operator.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was pointed out by some of the pros when Thorn got her buffs about how a Razor Bloom can be used to stop a plant. The Guzman Mine can as well. One of the best shield counters are those Guzman Mines, but that's if you keep them in pocket. That is something that seldom happens. Ella usually uses them to facilitate a roam, to gain intel, to disorient opponents.
Attackers are moving out to locate
Kudos
a
to
bomb and defuse
JB92
it.
for keeping them in back pocket, and it was a really quite a clever way to use that gadget. And for those that watch this game and play this game, it is a nice reminder of what the Polish operator is able to do. It has been a while since we've seen Ella firmly cemented in the meta, but here she is. And the Scorpion's not too bad right now either.
This is very similar to what we saw in round 9 of SR versus the Falcons for defensive lineups on Team Falcons. Tachanka coming out from Brede, of course. We've got the Warden coming through, still the smoke. Or sorry, the mute coming through from Liquefact as well. Can definitely try to make something happen from Falcons to stall things out with this plant. Maybe get some of those nitro cells going out of Uses and Liquefact. Saltov with one as well, and all three were in hand for a moment. Liquefact, the opening death once again as Noah has been able to find him consistently from outside the building. That's just on one of those windows, upside down rappel. It will get you. Admin side for Rome now has to play things a little bit more passive, Parker. Have to fall back and allow them in.
They've taken that admin control now from above. Mowgli's the first one in and first point of contact. 8 kills for Mowgli in that position. They could take advantage of Leaky Fact's early depth and use this to snowball an even greater lead. A response now from Falcons as they get themselves closer into harm's way, and Solotov will find out very quickly. There are some bodies there, and maybe to be concerned with the danger presented by them. Halfway point of this round, not a single point of damage has been done to this Team Secret squad.
In a pretty good spot. Joom down below could try to work his way up Spiral, but of course has got some great angles being opened up onto the site players as well. Uses does find Mowgli. He was one of those admin side players and was the one holding the defuse kit as well. So Noah's going to have to pick that up. The distraction play comes from Savage top Spiral as he loses Joom too.
And Falcons have answered back. The best they can do at this point in time is a tie in player numbers. Solotov's Nitro Cell will catch the bars. It misses. A whiff from Falcons might be their undoing. Diffuse kit not in the hands of Team Secret at this point in time. It is quite a ways away over towards admin, so Noah will have to burn about 10 seconds of the clock to go retrieve it and then get back. And the bigger thing is whether it's being actively watched by Falcons. That bit of hesitation can be a real killer, Jesse.
Yeah, he wasted a lot of time going to get it. This Tachanka means he can't really plant default, Parker, so they have to go deep, try to get a plant CEO side and get some kills.
And of course, because it being a 3v3, the moment that Noah starts that diffuse kit on the ground, you'll have to watch with lower numbers. They managed to take out Uses, though, so not all is bad for Secret. Adrian finds one, too, and now it's Brede to clutch out the Tachanka, unloading that LMG, but all those bullets deflecting off of the Blackbeard. Savage has his attention completely boxed out of the appropriate bomb site. Brede is hopeless right now. Diffuse kit will run away. Timer going down. Brede pushing in. Flattened and finished off by Savage. Savage the lightning rod for that round, and it will work out so effectively. Secret taking their first attacking round.
Genuinely, Parker, that 3v3 was such a smart execute from Secret. That's when you have to watch from a top-down POV because the Sens play coming out from Noah was absolutely brilliant. I said they couldn't plant default because of the Tachanka, and that was true. So what do? They go to the north side, they toss one of the Sens rollers right through the site and cut off line of sight for the Tachanka. Now the only person who could, in theory, even see the defuse kit as it goes down is Uses on that Warden. But then they rush him with the Blackbeard. Just take that close range 1v1. Savage has a free kill onto the player there, easily able to shut down that play. At the same time, Adrian's hitting from the back. He's able to take down Saltov, playing on that Mozzie. What an excellent execute coming out from Team Secret, and that is the type of thing, Parker, where I feel they are better than nearly everyone in the world.
There's a reason why they finished atop their group and got a bye in the very first set of matches today. Team Secret could have very easily slipped up a little bit and fallen down to that lower bracket if they'd had a less advantageous run, but they have looked mighty good, and they're doing well against Falcons right now without a single time that we have uttered Joom's name in, I think, the last 4 rounds, give or take. And he's been awfully quiet today. He's only trailed by Adrian in terms of fragging potential. The French player of Mowgli seemingly getting a locals-only buff. Leading the team, the rest of the squad is doing quite well. And again, depth is the name of the game for these teams at this level.
Doesn't seem like we're seeing the same style of push that Falcons went for on their piano execute. Not so much of a grand rush into the bomb site from the north side, bottom spiral instead. We're seeing Secret take this standard. You've got players inside of Visa already. You've got players maybe looking into admin as well. If they go up there, they're going to find Lickifak, but downwards, they fight for Solotov instead. That's Joom who's taken this space down on the Visa side of the map. Worried about anybody flanking up from the basement. We know there's nobody down there, but later on, of course, there certainly could be. Falcons seem fine to let them have this space for now, Parker. They're not contesting Visa, they're not contesting admin, but one step farther, and I think Falcons will look to take some fights.
Mowgli has been so fearless, taking that part of the map 2 rounds now in a row. And I mean, for good reason. He's beating just about everything that comes across his screen. Whenever you see stuff like that with the Rotera drone, you have to wonder if that was deliberate or if he actually meant to make it onto that lip. If he was not intending for it to go on the first floor, then things will get tricky, but we'd have to talk to Adrian after the fact.
Fire will soon run out in the vending hall, which will allow some of the top floor players to make their move through the top. That's why Savage is now rotating up through Spiral, hoping to be a distraction, but everybody from Falcons terrified of what they hear. They are falling off at speed, Parker.
A great cross. Brede will have his revenge, as it was Savage who kept him so busy in the post plant before. Final minute of this round, and they toy with Lickifak, but he is just so strong in that position. Adrian having trouble hitting his marks in several ways. Do they know that there's a second player inside of that position? I don't believe so. Still tucked in, still waiting ever so patiently. This could be a rude awakening as Brede emerges and tears through this team. The man of the hour, the top fragger on the squad, Joom, the only player to have broken 100 kills before the first map, has been played today, as Mowgli has now broken that title with his 8 kills. We'll have to do it all. A 1v3 for Joom. He's been terrific, but so have the Falcons across the board. And Shaiko will swing. Joom sits him down. Surveying what openings might be there from above. He's been able to isolate Uses in this position, but what of Brede? Super Shorty out, waiting for a play over towards yellow. He will not get it. A fallback from Usis, and he does it with his own secondary shotgun. Falcons equalize.
Probably not winnable given how far the defuse kit was for Joom. I think Falcons played that really well. Whilst they did let one player take the fight, Brede was ages away, so he wasn't really going to be able to get into that gunfight. But Falcons, such smart play happening on the top floor. They don't fight them in admin. They don't fight them top spiral. They lure them in. They let them come all the way over to the CEO side of the map, just outside a bathroom, and that's when they start to engage. And they only get involved when they know all 5 of the defenders can participate in that gunfight. It's kind of crazy. You had the duo of Brede and Shaiko from all the way back on that original BDS days, where you got to see Shaiko firing up through the floorboards onto the players in the CEO, while Brede hit them horizontally. If you look down, you're dead by Brede. If you look horizontal, you're going to be dead from Shaiko. So it was a really cool little combo they had going on there, luring Secret into their trap and then shutting them down as soon as they took that space.
Can't help but note how good Falcons have been on a map that proudly displays the French flag. I know you pointed out that this map is actually in Africa. This is the French consulate in Côte d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast, for those that do not speak French.
5 seconds
Just
left
again,
before insertion.
another home field advantage for this Falcons team. Much of that first game earlier today against Shopify Rebellion, Jesse, we talked about how Falcons want to go through that dream run in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, we say it mostly as a joke. There is some theory behind it because all of these winners as of late have been coming out of the lower bracket, but you never want to be in a position where you are a single loss away from going home, and yet, weirdly, perversely, that has been the case for most teams over the last couple years. Falcons obviously won a big victory here against the team that they typically beat. And, well, I think this map's a little closer than we expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think the math just works out, Parker, that most teams end up at the lower bracket at some points, and in the end, the lower bracket is really a battle of the fittest. The best team coming out of the lower bracket will be very, very good. Not to say the upper bracket won't produce a good winner as well, but you've got to go through so much more as a lower bracket team. We start to see the breaching come through now, forces these Visa players back. Savage and the Blackbeard, once again, we're seeing this operator take the space through the map, try to find some way to get that aggression, get that space for the team. It's gone all the way down to server, though, not really choosing to clear through those roamers. Instead, they're headed straight towards the site, maybe not expected by Falcons.
Quick one, as Savage walks in, there's the drop. They've got the intel now. Shield put away, Noah the leadoff pick. The Blackbeard is left stranded. Uses the only kill for Falcons at this point. Secret comes out ahead in these blows. More drops as Falcons are actually hitting their marks at this point in time, and they've blown everybody up. Adrian suddenly finds himself alone. How did things go so bad for Secret so quickly? Joom is recoverable, but Adrian needs to pick his battles very wisely. They will have a cut and a cross held. Never mind. Adrian attempts to rotate. He gets punished by the Falcons, and they will take the lead.
I think at the last possible moment, they caught on to what was happening. Falcons did. They returned to the bomb site, Parker, and then it's Bride's flank. He ends up going down. I think it's the Visa hatch, where he ends up right behind that push as it's coming through construction. He hits that nitrocell on the soft construction wall, takes down Noah, makes himself known, gets a final kill at the end there. Some really critical late-round kills coming through from Bride, the hard support from Falcons, who oh so often is not hitting the scoreboard in ways that some of the other players on his team often can, but the impact he's having from every single frag today in the Shopify game and this one has been massive.
Yeah, and I mean, the timeout's already been called for Team Secret to settle them down. Right, we got to hear Twister try and knock some sense into this team and maybe imbue them with a bit more confidence than they had. And I mean, confidence started to come in spades towards the tail end of that first half, since they've just been trading back and forth. You don't want to be trading at this point in time. You need to start cleaning up these rounds. I think Falcons needed a reminder that they're defending on console here, Jesse. You need to make this map work in your favor. They've done just that in the previous round.
While we start the site rotations, once again, the second set of operator bans through the second half have come through, and Secret end up banning the mute in an attempt to turn the tides of the round. There was a mute brought last time they played top floor. That was Liquifax, so he moves over to the Goyo and another chance to try to slow down the push as it comes on in. But they also won that top floor last time they came to it, so Team Secret should know exactly what they want to do with the bomb slate like this. Again, I was a huge fan of that 3v3 execute that Secret put together with the Sens. It was frankly brilliant. They haven't brought it again, though, so you've got to imagine there's a different idea coming into this round, likely revolving around the smokes that they've got on the Glads, the smokes they've got on the Capitao, and how they're going to see through it.
A Shaiko spawn peek is certainly something, and he presses his luck as he works away from the window that, I believe that was Noah's silhouette. Again, still getting used to Thatcher's silhouette with that big cannon on his back that he uses to knock things out. No more Fukin laser sights, as they say it, or he says it rather. Instead, I actually have no idea what he says when he shoots it. I don't usually play with my ears and others coming in.
Fair enough. That honestly explains a lot.
I also choose to cast with my ears off, so I don't have to hear you. That also will explain a lot.
Nobody from Team Secret into the building 60 seconds through this round. It's pretty much writing off an admin side clear, although it is being droned at the moment. They spot a roamer down below. That's Liquifac. Not the same that we saw going for the spawn peak, of course, was Shaiko in towards Piano. In fact, finds his way back up the Visa stairs, though. So for all this time that they've spent Secret outside the building, droning the middle floor, looking for one of these roamers, they haven't come away with much. It's going to start putting some pressure on this plant. If it starts going down 5v5, it is going to get messy for the attackers.
They're starting to take care of those volcanic canisters. As you saw those nades go in, Leaky Fac have placed them in positions where you typically will want to walk the diffuser. In that default plant spot by the window is the main one. That was where the nade had gone. Brede looking for a bit more success in denying the plant this time, though it didn't fall on his shoulders before. That's why you bring the Tachanka, and he's already started shooting out those Molotovs from his Shumika launcher. Slowing down the advance over towards Yellow Stairs, now pushing the Secret team back onto the window of CEO.
Yeah, Jim's got to start doing things from below. He almost takes down Licky Fac, but he's the one that needs to deny this Tachanka's positioning. They can't go for a plant as long as Brede's still up.
Fire for fire, Savage walks in. He manages to get out with his life intact. Brede taking some damage from the Capital fire arrows as well. They can continue to do this. Denying that plant with 35 seconds left. There is still utility here, and oh my, now it's Adrian to go in to endure the flames. He has to hop out as well. Brede way more successful this time, Jesse, at shutting this down. Shaiko in the midst of smoke will swing on to Savage. He's got a lineup for the Lion as well. Uses is there with 2. All the kills for Falcons coming from 2 individuals. Joom down below. And it's those same 2 yet again. Shaiko sealing the deal on this round, sending Falcons to map point on their own map.
And they're playing mind games with them, Parker. Falcons, they showed themselves 2 different players on that mid floor in the first 60 seconds. They showed Shaiko, they showed Licky Fac. And then immediately, once those players got droned out, once they were found, they rotate back up the bottom from the bottom floor. What does that mean? Well, that means Joom, the buck below the bomb site, is spending the entire round terrified of getting flanked, so cautious about what's coming his way. He never gets flanked, he never gets pushed, he never gets pressured, but he also never does his job. He's not able to force the Warden out from CEO, he's not able to force Brede out from his position, and then a plant at that point is just impossible. Nobody stops Usis from stepping up and making this play just because the pressure from the buck down below, he's opened almost none of the floorboards, and he hasn't been able to maintain that position.
And if you look at that round, you're going to give a lot of credit to Usis in particular for shutting down those swings through the window into your main plant spot. But really, it's frankly Brede who prolonged that fight.
Yeah, I agree.
He started shooting out those Molotovs with a minute to go.
10 seconds to go.
How many times did players from Secret get in that window, take damage, and get out? Almost dead. First it was Adrian, I believe it was Mowgli in the previous round, who also found themselves in that position. Maybe it was Noah. But he was able to play in impunity. The reason why you put a buck down there is exactly what you said. You want to make life uncomfortable for those defenders, to shove them out of position so that you can get in and take map control. Joom wasn't able to do it, and because of that, the planters and the entire cavalry that was sent in by Team Secret were unsuccessful at their job, and it made Usis look like a superstar getting all those cleanup kills, but honestly, Brede deserves the lion's share of credit.
Looking to lock down Consulate for the second time today. 6-4 lead. Falcons just need 1 of the next 2 defensive rounds. This push is going to come in through admin. They want to clear the whole map. Licky Fac's very close here, just inside of the left room. Falls back to the vending hallway. He's got Solotov with him, so the 2 roam combo of Falcons' aggressive players are trying to make something happen up there. Worried about a Visa push as well with Licky Fac at the bottom of the Visa stairs. Secret take a moment to drone.
Leaky Fac does not want to follow up on this intel. At this point in time, the intel is no longer relevant. He's waiting for the all clear. I don't know if they still have a read on him at this point in time. Joom is fighting all by himself in that area. Leaky Fac could really surprise him, and that would be not the first time it's happened for Team Secret. Falcons have had the element of surprise multiple times. Brede, probably most notably, inside of that connecting room from top yellow into CEO. Solotov now in a world of hurt, taking some serious damage. Savage getting hurt as well. Leaky Fac still biding his time. Down goes Noah. We didn't even think he was involved in the action, and Brede shuts him down with a nitro cell.
90 seconds gone, almost a full 2 minutes, and they've not got a lot of space, Parker. They need to get kills now. There's Mowgli for the first on to Brede, but they still don't know what Licky Fac. Oh, they do!
Mowgli turning around and shredding Efac in his position. Solotov eliminates Joom. Joom was living on borrowed time, it seemed. fighting against players that since had moved on. Solitod has switched drones, or rather robots. Bot on bot, as Shopify Rebellion referred to the at Scopos earlier on.
All 6 players live on the server have vacated the top floor, Parker. They're all going to hit this site horizontally. A couple of players are near the yellow stairs, but it's Solitov that strikes first.
He swings onto Mowgli. That's the Frenchman down. Savage and Adrian are the only hope that Secret has at staying in this very first map. Falcons picked it. They looked oh so comfortable on it. Adrian dies at Shaiko's hands. Both of them do. And Mr. 1000 manages to add more to that tally, now in pursuit of 2,000 kills at SI. He's got a long way to go, but you got to start somewhere. Falcons win their own map 7-4. Team Secret only getting one more round than Shopify Rebellion was able to do earlier.
The French consulate feels like home to the French team, Parker, and they are just one map away from main stage at the Six Invitational.
What will happen as we go deeper into this series? We'll find out after the break.
A very convincing map one from Team Falcons put them up very convincingly. I will say that was a very strong map from them, and I think moving forward, we're not going to say we have concerns for Secret, but all we're going to say is, my God, they are all guns blazing right now.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. I think Falcons, realistically, they started out so hot on the attack. How did they do that? It was off the back of the blitz. I would say, realistically, they were causing problems because they were just running behind a blitz at all of the Secret roamers, and then ultimately it took Secret way too long to adapt into that. Once you get a free half, that was the second time today they've got a free attack half on Consulate, our strongest defender-sided map currently. You set yourself up for great success.
Yeah, it was a game in 3 phases. If you look at it here on the round summary, by the way, it starts, like you said, very good on the early with the blitz and 3 attacks in a row.
Yep.
Then there's a turning point after the attack timeout. They understand the play style of Team Falcons. They understand they need to pick them apart, and it works well for 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
The problem was, as soon as Falcons is in defense, they can capitalize on the individuals, they can go aggressive, and they can also punish the lack of sometimes adaptation from Team Secret. I want to say, what was that about forcing that CEO plant to Tachanka fire, for example?
Yeah.
You know, there were some examples
That
where I was
was
like,
calamity. That
I was like, why do you keep going there? Like, you know, there's 25 canisters in that, you know. So I don't know. There were some weird examples of Team Secret failing to adapt at some point.
Do we feel as though potentially this was a game of, I guess, individuality by any means?
I wouldn't say individuality. I would say realistically defensive power, especially on Consulate. You get to sit behind a lot of utility, and you get to have individual gunfights that are in the favor of the defenders, and I think Falcons are always going to win those out. They've got the big players in the big critical moments. You know, so Soltov, massive amount of kills. Chaiko, massive amounts of kills on those defenses, and that's what it added up to.
The thing for me, though, is it's not all bad news for Secret, right? Yes, Falcons looked very good, but it's not all bad news.
No, because whenever we see mistakes from Secret, we can also praise what they do well. And I think round 7 was a perfect example of that. Look at that adaptation. They're in a 3v3. They're trying to attack on the medium bomb site. And look at what Noah will do on the stance here. It's critical here. He will completely cut off a single player that's stuck in Kobe. Look at C4. The C4 is failed here because they have no information because of the stance wall. The Blackbird can rush upon the cover of the stance wall. At that time, Noah can go for the plant. Look at the top of your screen here. Solotov dies to Adrian, who stayed to hold the backstab. And at this point, Noah can use the cover of his own stance wall to go for the diffuser. And at the same time, look at the Blackbird, creating pressure, pushing away the last remaining defender. It's a beautiful 3v3 clean execute. Goes to show Secret has the level. We just need that consistency because right now Falcons has that.
I agree. We need to see more of that. The one thing that Secret did really well in that round was get it. Once it got back to a 3v3, they almost paused. Savage was kind of just lurking on the site door as the Blackbeard to try and work out, right, what's the game plan here? And they come up with a game plan on the fly within seconds, execute it perfectly. Now that's what we do need to see more of going into Chalet.
Now, Chalet is all about the gunfight, and this will be a critical change that I need to see. Right now, the gunfights are going the way of Falcons. It needs to change with a full confidence on Chalet, as Mowgli seems to state it here.
It's a big one, no doubt about it. Team Secret, their backs are up against the wall, but we just saw a very hot and heavy Consulate. It's time for us to head to Chalet.
Well, from one French quote-unquote map to the other, we cannot shake this country just like we can't shake it in real life. Will Falcons have a slight edge because of the location? I don't think so. This is a very good map for Team Secret, so map number 3 seems quite likely, but Jesse, what are the win conditions or singular win condition for Team Secret here on Chalet?
Well, I think the desk broke it down, Parker. We've seen excellence from Team Secret. I'm so glad that Leo chose to replay that round where they had the Sens executing the 3v3. We know what Secret are capable of. It's about getting that consistently. It's about getting that over and over again, making sure you can have that mental reset in some of your attacks, starting on the offensive side in a map that can be offensive-sided in certain circumstances. That gives them the opportunity to showcase exactly how good of an attacking team they are. Team Secret, of course, come into this matchup with the highest defending win rate of any team in the tournament, at least before today's matches had occurred. But their attacks still need to be strong when playing up against the Falcons. It's two European rivals who are going head-to-head in an all-EML matchup. Parker, they ban out the Azamis, you have to. They ban out the Valkyrie, which I think is a really smart play. And then Dogabi Capitao to be removed by Team Falcons. Operators that we do see played quite often. Noah on the Capitao, one of his favorite operators to bring out here on Chalet, so it makes a lot of sense to take that off the board.
Strong ops for both of these teams. Nuisance ops gone. Falcons removing the Capitao that has caused them so many issues on previous maps. Falcons adopting Capitao as one of their own earlier today. I think even you touched upon that in the Shopify Rebellion matchup that Falcons had earlier. Shopify Rebellion losing that matchup, of course. Down to the lower bracket they go. For the people that were not here for map number 1, the winner of this series is guaranteed to make the main stage, because while their next match that will be on Tuesday will not be played in front of a live crowd, should they lose that game, then they make the main stage via the lower bracket. So let's say Falcons 2-0 Secret, and then they lose their next match. That's okay, because they'll be on main stage in the lower bracket. But just for a single opportunity, should they lose that one, they would go home. Earlier today, we started off with M80 Space Station. Well, this is the groups, obviously. We actually started off this stream here with Furia Heretics. Furia winning that series 2-0 and then beating Weibo Gaming just about an hour ago with a 2-0 as well. Furia in mighty good form. Then it was us on Shopify Rebellion versus Team Falcons. It was a scrappy matchup with an incredible third map. Team Falcons winning that one, and now here they are against Team Secret. On the other stream, we had M80 versus Space Station and SSG taking that series 2-0, and then Fluxo W7M defeating D+, before going on to narrowly lose to FaZe Clan. So FaZe Clan awaits the winner of Wildcard Space Station, which should be going on the B stream, and Furia awaits the victor of this matchup here on your screen right now. Those games will go live tomorrow, as this is our final match on the A stream today.
And it starts with Falcons going down to the basement in what is potentially our final map of the series. And a lot of teams choose not to play bottom floor bomb site here on Chalet. They prefer to go to the top 3 sites. Falcons, at least in the previous game against Furia on the first day of groups, did not choose to play the top floor even once. So Falcons may be suggesting that they don't like that top floor, even with an Azami banner, especially with that. They might just decide that it's too difficult of a site to hold on to. It's not really a roam. There's a slight roam from Shaiko and Uses here over towards the library side. Saltov actually on the top floor as well. So they're not roaming dining, which is where you'll see a lot of teams go for a roam on this side of the map, but they're happy to hold on to library. They're happy to hold on to games, and even Uses on the Clash, playing very forward to try to get information to feed Saltov a kill.
Uses paying off in terms of his ability to communicate with his teammates. He's been playing these shield ops quite frequently, and I mean, it's been working. While his numbers might be taking a bit of a beating, the rest of the team tends to flourish in that situation. I think everybody's kind of united here. Jesse, as Brede gets the leadoff pick against Mowgli, you gladly will get no kills if it means your team is better situated to win the Six Invitational. Adrian bursting in, and down goes Brede, down goes Shaiko. Just like that, Team Secret will take a numbers advantage with 30 seconds left. Now the Goyo of Solotov being hunted down by Noah. That's got everybody on the run on the side of Falcons. They know where the Clash is. They knew where Solotov is. The only question is, what is Leaky Fact doing? He's over on lobby stairs, running up to a drone, fearlessly engaging with Adrian. Solotov gunning down Savage. They trade. Diffuser has been surrendered. Time running out. Noah and Solotov in a 1v1, and Solotov is just going to hide at this point in time. Running outside, giving Falcons the first round. A cheeky end of the round, but hey, win's a win. You do not need to take the engagement if you are a defender. The clock will give you the round.
Yeah, a messy, strange round to start us off on Chalet. The roam is only library game side, so nobody's over towards dining. In Secret, they identify that and they see it as an opening. They push towards the wine side of the map. They take Big Garage. They try to get a plant down in through the wine cellar. But as soon as they finally get into that position where they can go for the plant, that's when the Clash starts to hunt them down. That's where the information comes through from Team Falcons. They respond to that by moving more players into the basement. At the same time, there are Secret players on the top 2 floors trying to hit those players that were roaming around library, roaming around games. They don't quite have as strong of information, so it allows players like Liggyfac to run up those snow stairs, get some of those picks. The push very disconnected as some of the wine players and then some of the fireplace players were just very far away from each other. Meant that in that 1v1, there was just no time to cross the map to get back over to where your teammates died and refrag their bodies. At that point, it was Falcons who had spread out really, really nicely and clutched things up. So very creative first round here on Chalet. Not an easy defense to attack, and Secret can't get it done.
Bit of a worrying sign for Secret on the very first round. It was the coordination that I think is the bigger issue here. You can lose a round and we can go, you know, that's bound to happen. As we've said many, many times on this broadcast, you can do everything right and still ultimately lose. But it was obvious that Secret were not in lockstep with one another on that previous round. They had those same issues on Consulate. If they carry over to Secret's map pick, that's when you start to sound the alarm bells. Falcons already have you on the ropes by winning their map. Now Secret needs to do the same, because if you're Team Secret, you are looking at Fortress, a map that Falcons just had their wings clipped on by Shopify Rebellion earlier today, and you're thinking, we can do this. You just got to get there first.
This is a cool little setup again from Falcons. You've got Liggyfac, the captain, on the Clash running around the top floor, trying to protect his teammates who are also up here with him. They don't protect Shaiko. He still managed to take about 50 HP damage from that Case's window. So we do see the first strike coming out from Secret, but it's not enough for a kill. Player in library corner, of course, that's Uzus on the Wamai. Going to be very tough to get him out of here. They've got lots of nades, lots of flashes. So in theory, burning him out is possible, but it will require a lot of utility. At the same time, Saltov with his ADSs are trying to catch that util as well.
Seems to be working, Jesse, as far as I can tell. ADSs, magnets, one of which was just tossed out by Uzus as they pilot drones on in to give themselves more information. Nades have also been used. Only one remains in pocket for June. And I mean, if worst comes to worst, you've got Solotov there to assist.
Yeah, I think the util worked perfectly for them, Parker. They threw a lot in, but it wasn't enough. Still holding that library position. Noah gets the first pick, but Uzus trades one back.
And they're just going to continue to trade as they land blows left and right, left and right. Shaiko inside sight, gunning down Mowgli. They will see Noah rush up. Clash coming in for an assist. Adrian and June last two. Uzus finds yet another secondary shotgun out. Who will get this final pick? Adrian in this spot, dancing around it. Liggyfac, the captain himself, gets the job done. 2-0 for Falcons, and they have looked really confident in the process.
It's excellent utility play, Parker. The Wamai plus Jaeger combo, a classic alongside the Clash, and then it's the 25-year-old from Chester, England, who really steps up and hits the shots.
Guys, because the info is there, we're just not being able to catch it up. So please reset so you guys can focus on each other a little bit more. Like these clashes, it's been a pain in the ass over there. If you guys want to go for the kitchen take onto the other side right now, I think we just adapted to the strat, the open over there, so we can have an easier time into this. But for the rest, guys, overall, I think if you guys decide to ban it later, it was about this half takes is still a good idea against them, like as we did in basement, you know. But we need to be able to be playing at the same time over there. Like even into the previous round, it was really good the read that you guys were having and the reactions as well. But we just lost some way into the middle over there, you know. So guys, chill a bit, try to gather information that you guys are having, and then let's force these strong operators against them. Okay?
Yeah.
No panic yet.
Nope.
They know that starting on attack on Chalet is usually with the wind working against you. The most played map here at the Six Invitational, and it does skew ever so slightly to the defenders. But Chalet, as we have seen, can be really favorable turf for the attackers, of course, depending on operator bans and teams' individual stats when it comes to attacking and defending. So no real cause for concern just yet, but still some worrying signs there that they got to nip it in the bud on the side of Secret before it gets even worse.
We are hyped on the side of Falcons. You can feel the energy all the way from the other room where you and I are casting, Parker. They're absolutely into this matchup. 5 rounds away now from making main stage at the Six Invitational. You're right, that tack timeout from Twister, not a panic tack timeout just yet, but feels there's things that need to be improved. Worried about the clash which is being brought now for the 3rd round in a row. Twister's been head coach of this Team Secret squad for over almost 2 years exactly, actually, so has been with this team for a very long time, helped build it, respected as one of the longest standing coaches in the game. And despite failing to shoot some default cams immediately, they are still, I think, in a strong place to bring this map back. It is their pick. You've got to imagine they've got some tricks coming later on.
Down goes Noah, though. Shaiko on the run out. He's been playing loose. It's been nice to see, going for spawn peaks, going for runouts, unpredictable factors that your opponents not prepared for can easily knock them off stride. Secret's been knocked off stride 2 rounds in a row. Even if their coach Twister said they had a good read on it, they weren't able to execute on it. And some things tripped them up. That hold inside a library is an old one, but it did seem to be a bit frustrating for Secret to deal with. Mowgli almost gets a much belated trade back. As now, minute off of the clock, Secret finds themselves in a disadvantage.
And Secret want to clear this office position, Parker, but it's so difficult when there's a tuber out playing in the office position. That's where Solotov is, and as long as he's playing there, that office wall is likely to stay closed for a very long time. You can see Mowgli's a little frustrated, wants to get it open. Might have found one little angle where the Zoto canister is not covering, although it does look kind of frozen to me. Manages to breach the wall one way or another, though, and that starts to give them a bit of an entry point. Now we see the ace charges coming through, too. Those were thrown long ago, but finally the freeze wears off, and they can get some drones inside of office. The players have fallen back for now from Falcons, but they can't give up much more space before they start the fight.
Flashbangs go out to give Mowgli maybe some coverage here as Savage peels off of his position. They are spread out, trying to clear out this top floor as best as they can. Drones working on those solarium/trophy stairs. They had coverage over by Chimney. They had a lot of this map marked down, but 2 of these players, almost 3 of these players, not even inside the map just yet. Jube had a quiet first map. He'll collect 2. His patience rewarded as Shaiko and Solotov both peek that window. Solotov, to his credit, was backing up, not looking for an active fight. Can't say the same for Shaiko. And with that, Secret will now take the man advantage.
There's the Azami Bang coming into play. It makes those windows so powerful for the attackers. It's Jumu strikes twice. And now with the man advantage, Secret can have a little bit of room to play with. Top floor is fully conceded their way. Usus and Bride are the only 2 guns on the bomb sites. And now with Bride falling, it'll be just Usus in the clash to lock things down.
Not just Bride, but Usus will join. Leaky Fact will die shortly thereafter. And Secret will once again successfully convert their timeout. So being able to talk to Twister, paying off immediately in map number 1. And exactly the same thing now unfolds here on Secret's map.
And I think it comes down to the patience, Parker. I mean, they had really good information as to what that hold was going to look like. They seemed aware that it was going to be an office hold, that they had to deal with that 2 route. They had to get in through piano. Joom spent a good bit of time just out on the west balcony, watching in through the bathroom window, watching in through piano window, waiting for his opportunity. And when the 2K presented itself, he went and grabbed it. Joom sometimes thought of as the single best player in all of Europe, maybe the world. He's been hyped up to such levels before. Some players on Falcons would like to say something about that, I'm sure. Shaiko, of course, still maybe a bit older than he used to be, but still in the prime of his career, hitting some ridiculous shots here at the Six Invitational. Coming into today, Joom and Shaiko were the first and second highest rated players at this event, and it was by less than a single point in the EPS score that differentiated them. So really, it has been a battle between these 2 EU boys. Joom out on top on that one, but plenty more game to play.
Joom has played fewer rounds than Shaiko, quite a lot fewer rounds. Joom entered this matchup playing 108. Shaiko was at 132, and yet just 18 kills separate them. So much more efficient there from Joom, but again, there was a period of time where Shaiko was averaging over a kill a round, and I know that that doesn't sound that impressive, but if every single round you spawn in and you get 1 kill, oh boy, teams will be clamoring to have you on that roster, assuming, of course, that those kills are actually high impact, and nobody is doubting themselves about Shaiko's efficiency and his impact. He can absolutely dominate games.
Drone. Let's go.
He doesn't usually clean up in garbage time. He's typically the one at the forefront getting early kills and then dying shortly thereafter. So Shaiko being able to trade himself out, massive boon. He's done just that so far. Through 3 rounds, he's 2 for 2.
Clash ban absolutely necessary for Team Secret. It was such an important part of the Falcons' defense on all 3 bomb sites. It won't be available anymore. Yuzus actually played it back in round 1, not Liquifax, so he moves over to the Melusi to try to continue to slow down some of these attackers, a little bit more stationary, but same idea. This push, this hold looks very similar from Falcons, with Solotov still trying to play up aggressive in towards Library. Doesn't have the Clash to protect him this time, Parker, but still confident in his aim.
I'm reloading! Solotov is fishing for a kill right now on the window. He's caught in the cross. Noah has him from the back of Library out on that other balcony window. It's a devastating loss for Solotov. EFAC will also be dropped. So Secret, they are much more confident now than they were just moments ago, and it is showing, and it is showing hard.
It's getting hotter in here, Parker. Joom is heating up. These last couple of kills, these last couple of rounds, they've been very impactful for him, hoping to catch one as they walk up the blue stairs. Yuzus might do just that. We saw some play from Shaiko on the snowmobile stairs, but he's not really looking to get aggressive. So it really just comes down to the one flank from Yuzus to try to equalize these numbers. If that can be successful, if that can catch someone off guard, then it could tilt the scales back in favor of Falcons.
Obviously, there are 4 other players on the side of Secret, but Joom was only able to net 6 kills in map number 1 across 11 rounds. Joom's already 2/3 of the way there. And we haven't even finished round 4, so still time for him to eclipse that total. Down goes Yuzus to Joom. Don't you believe it? Mowgli is gone, and well, it's Secret to double up on Falcons with a little bit more than 40 seconds left on the clock. Diffuser will need to be retrieved as now Joom absorbs a bit of damage. He's been dropped by the guns of Falcons. Shaiko securing that kill. Down he goes at the hands of Adrian, and Bride finished inside of blue by Noah. Secret finally waking up and showing what you can do on attack on Chalet. Tie game.
Again, I think a really good round from Juma, singing his praise in the midst of that. Obviously, the entry to get in from Library was really big from him. Also was catching that flank from Yuzus. That was, I think, another big point, because that was Falcons' attempt to get back into the round after they had lost a heavy man count advantage on the top floor. They know how Chalet works. They want to play aggressive. They want to swing to get into those early gunfights, because if they don't, often the attackers can just bulldoze over the site. So tried to play aggro up and towards Library. Didn't really go their way. Then we're watching for the flank. Really smart play to come over from Joom. And even when he dies, the trades are there. It wasn't too much of a focus on the basement, which I really liked. They recognize that a lot of these Falcons guys want to leave the basement. They want to roam. They want to get aggressive. And, you know, in the end, Secret were very ready for that. So very good play coming out from the European team. We're back to being tied at 2. Parker?
Again, attackers can have an advantage on this map as some of the bomb sites skew towards their side, but it does come down to bans. It does come down to familiarity. Falcons have already taken more rounds on their opponent's map pick here than they did on that Fortress map, and Fortress is what awaits us as the tiebreaker. It was 7-1 for the Falcons. They were on the one side on that Fortress map against Shopify Rebellion earlier today, so being able to improve upon that score is good. Secret took more rounds off of Falcons on console than Shopify Rebellion was able to as well. So just goes to show that Secret, just in terms of raw numbers, standing up a little bit better against this other EU team. Yuzus gets Joom. I don't know if they've cleared out Library at all. Noah's been dropped as well. The only one on the ground for Falcons is Solotov. Adrian dies. Mowgli or Savage will need to retrieve Noah. If not, this round goes in Falcons' favor, and it'll do so in a hurry. We are only 50 seconds into action in round 5.
Yuzus is so good in that corner, man. I feel like he has been unstoppable for Secret. They can't get past him. They tried the previous attempt to throw all of their utility at him, and it wasn't good enough. So this time they said, what if we just pop a lion and jump in, try to coordinate something to get us going? But even then, Yuzus was ready for it. Really clean shots to be able to keep that man advantage in the favor of Secret. Savage hunting for something in Mudroom, breaks open the barricade, but doesn't find a head with it, so he has to retreat and reposition. Team Secret are going to take this as an opportunity to re-clear over towards Piano. Take this office space. It's not being held by Falcons right now, and as soon as they become aware of that, they can use it to try to mount a second push. This is something that they actually did quite well on Consulate, working with man disadvantage. They've got to be able to do that again now on Chalet.
Mowgli taking a bit of damage, marching on in after that F-Naught is shot. Now it's Leaky Fat getting torn asunder, but still firing back. 2 of the 3 remaining players on Secret are gone, and Savage finds himself with a wealth of time, but no real idea as to where to go next. That defuse kit several walls away from him, and he will have to cross basically the Rubicon to get over towards it. Trying to free up some space over on blue stairs with a nade going out, a pre-fire, using that fire extinguisher for some coverage. And, well, one of the big downsides of Blackbeard, Jesse, is you make a lot of noise. They know exactly where you're coming from. There's no discreet way for Savage to go about this. I appreciate how much damage he's doing to that reinforcement, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get Yuzus on the other side of it. Yuzus might be able to see him if he continues to move in this direction. Yes! The carbine gets put to good use. Falcons will regain the lead after surrendering the previous 2 rounds to Secret.
Same player, same corner, same site. I mean, the Brit just really does it the best on anyone on this team. Uses really clean play from the corner once again. That could have been even more of a dominant round if the Boss G was in the same state it was a year and a half ago or so, because that spawn peek that was initially attempted by Solitov could have been a kill on a previous patch. Not so in 2026. Uses again, just trained in the right direction, you know, focused on where this push is going to come from, not caught sleeping. Obviously, there was no util thrown in to support that push, right? And you might look at it and say, oh, the Secret are idiots. You know, they should have used some util there. But they tried the util route in round 2, and it didn't work at all for them. So they tried to catch them off guard. They tried to go fast instead of using util and telegraph what their plan was, but it just didn't matter. Usus was so ready for it.
And you know what a piece of util is that people don't often account for? Drones. So if you're not going to use your drones either, the element of surprise is something that you got to be concerned with. Imagine how much map control Secret would have had if they won that engagement against Usus. You control library, now you can exert a lot of pressure onto Chimney. If you're playing Chimney as a defender, now you need to worry an awful lot about a rotate through main lobby. Blue stairs, you have to hold or die. All of these things just kind of coming together in this perfect harmony. And obviously losing that engagement, losing Joom so early, well, that's not where you want to be. And Usus was able to hold that spot. Nothing could be done to wrestle it away from Falcons, who now set themselves up, Jesse, to be able to take this first half 4-2.
Solitov has retaken the corner. I thought it was Usus who once again just went right back to the spot where he keeps dominating, but different player this time, Parker, and probably less success. Has to drop immediately with the nade being tossed his way.
And they'd accounted for that, right? The moment that the nade went in and he got pinged by a drone, he knows the 1-2 punch is there. You got to get out of the way or you're going to get hit. Solitov manages to escape with his life intact.
This last time they were here too, Parker, don't forget, I mean, they tried to really hunker down inside of the office. This time they've spread themselves a lot farther around the map. They've got players inside of games. They've got players that were starting library. They've got players who are trying to get past the crossfire, and they do just that. With more map control being held by the Falcons, it's going to slow Secret down, and then hopefully the players who are still in office, in piano, will have a better time holding on to this despite the fact they don't have the tuber out.
This great disappearing act from Falcons must be frustrating Secret at this point in time, as they had a couple players dead to rights, but didn't get any of them. Adrian, the first casualty. As we hit the halfway point of the round, Falcons looking to make a statement here on Chalet. Imagine continuing their rampage against Team Secret by taking their own map, punching a ticket to the upper bracket, or to rather the main stage through the upper bracket. But Team Secret's got something to say about that, and they find 2 very quick kills to snatch that advantage away from the Falcons. Reload!
Well, point does the defuse kit come down, Parker? They dropped it just outside of the dining wall, and that is still fully reinforced. No more hard breaching. They didn't bring any to begin with on this round. None from the striker and none anywhere else. So they've got to find some other way to get into the bomb site. If you're just trying to get through that door into dining, that's going to be a really awkward attempt to make it. They do have the shield, but even Joom is on low HP, and Bride is holding a nitro as we speak. So this is going to be really awkward to get a plant down despite the numbers.
That soft wall there is prime fodder for the Blackbeard shield to charge on through. The ton of utility still remaining. They got smokes and nades, so that will have to do the trick. What little remained to Joom is gone. That's the diffuser dropped as well. A huge play by Bride that might have just saved this round. Nade goes in, Usus dies. Some martyrdom from Mowgli, a 2v2, and a wild swing over in West Main. Bride, last man standing. Noah and Savage to try and tie this one together, and Noah is so good. We say Joom's name a lot, but don't ever count out Noah. The lead for Falcons is gone the first half, perfectly tied up 3-3.
Spoit fans, cover your ears, but Noah is quickly becoming the best Swedish player in Rainbow Six Siege. The way he's able to play around some of these positions that get opened up by Mowgli or even Joom have been really, really impressive to watch through EML and through this tournament as well. Noah, just some brilliant shots to clutch that one back. I really thought Brede was in a position where he could have won that. As soon as he downs the defuse kit with the Blackbeard, there is nobody else in a position to pick that up. But I think time was just a little bit too high still. The speed from Team Secret was really, I think, a benefactor for them in that round, as they just had so much to play with. 20 seconds, I believe, when that 1v2 starts. So lots of time to play with. Noah able to hit those shots, readjust his aim, and have a really clean round to tie this at 3. Would have been kind of awkward if it was a 4-2 Falcons split on their opponent's pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like what you said about Noah quickly becoming one of the best Swedish players, a small shot across the bow to our good friend Spoit.
I told him to cover his ears, okay? They didn't hear that. Now they have.
Do you think they listened?
Yeah, if I say Spoit fans cover your ears, they wouldn't keep listening.
That's a good point.
But now we've had a discussion about it, so now I'm gonna get like some messages. Most likely.
I did an interview with Spoit for some supplementary content yesterday or 2 days ago, and I've been tagged in it. Spoit basically rated Ambi higher than Stompin', and let me tell you, I have to put on a hazmat suit to wade into those comments. So, hearing Spoit, Stompin', and Ambi fans all collide with one another over and over and over again.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Let me tell you, it's not a fun way to spend an afternoon. So
the Noah fans are now going to get involved too, so it's going to be a real brawl.
I'm sure Noah is amassing a steady group of fans, but he has not exactly had a ton of time at the top of EML and Tier 1 to have so many. And again, we do tend to say Joom's name an awful lot. Noah, though, having a very good day so far, and being able to stack up against the Falcons, that's mighty impressive. Noah has the second best KD and the second highest rating right now of all competitors, barely trailing a little-known guy called Shaco.
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah. He won the Yongshiping, I think. Is that the guy?
Yeah, on Be Genius. Way back in the day.
Brede jumping in the building on the Monty inside of games. There was a roam here, but it's still kind of just Joom now locking down this spot. His phone will ring, and he will keep watching the hatch. Brede is not too far away from him, though, Parker.
No, and Brede and Solotop both taking some licks now from this Team Secret team as they just continue to fire bullets away. Brede inside of games. He's got a good read on this back bar. He's got a read on bar as well. As out goes the Nitro cell. Mowgli will take down Solotop. Brede impervious to the Nitro. Leaky Fact tears through the Frenchman on Team Secret. And back to even footing these teams will go.
You still haven't been able to root Joom out of this position, nor have you been able to take down Savage. So this is map control that Secret are refusing to give up. Yu's is going to fall to Savage. That continues to be this two-man roam, finding success here in bar and games. They've got to find some way to root them out, Parker, but they've got only a single more flash. They don't have a whole lot of utility. Licky Fact finally gets an angle, but it took you so much time. Even with Joom going down, Secret could maybe fall back and still find themselves in a good position.
I like this recovery from Falcons. It's been quite graceful. Adrian and Noah will now walk towards Library, hoping to catch these Falcons players mid-rotate, but then opting instead to take the safety of the bomb site as their next step. I think ultimately the right call. A lot of info will be gained from Brede as he stares down Noah, who's last standing. Shaco punishing Adrian to go for the run out. He's spotted, and immediately Brede reads him like a book. Shaco gets him on the cut, heading back to the site, and Falcons will take their first attack.
Shaco looking so good as he yells across to his opponent. Not often a yapper, Shaco, but feeling himself up against his domestic rivals. And again, a really good clear through that games. I was worried about how long it was taking, Parker, but as I was saying my sentence, they ended up collapsing on a couple of those frags. Looking back in through Mudroom was absolutely massive. This kill right here started that kind of turn in the round, which started to get them that advantage. Then once Joom goes down to the hatch, he's left all alone the moment Savage goes down. No idea how Shaco wins that gunfight. And I think in that 2v3, we just started to see Secret playing aggressive in order to play aggressive, in order to get some kind of a chance in the round. Lots of energy being felt by Falcons 3 rounds away from main stage.
Every single round counts. It's a game of inches, a game of centimeters. I suppose if you were over here in Europe, you and I, their proximity to America, know inches quite well, but I mean, we don't use them in daily life. Falcons just edging out Secret on so many of these rounds. And what I will say is that if you go back and you watch Consulate, and now here on Chalet too, yes, Secret has committed small missteps here and there, but they've not been playing a bad game.
No.
This is just Falcons and all of their practice carrying over from their matchup earlier. Yes, they obviously know how Team Secret plays. They played them an awful lot in the EML. They've played them at live events. They've played them at EWC, and Falcons really do have their number. But with the way Secret has turned it up a notch at this event, you gotta think eventually that trend line will break. At this present moment, it doesn't seem like it will be this match.
I mean, Jack and Leo had that great graphic at the start of our show. We know how much Falcons can dominate Secret, especially at international tournaments. We've seen it over and over again, and right now it feels like we're repeating history. Bride is once again taking some space inside of games. This looks identical to the round we just witnessed, Parker, but the bomb site is technically a floor below where it was previously. Why change your strategy, though? I guess if you're Secret, you're confident in it. It didn't work for you last time, but you did trade out quite well. You got quite close with it. Doom and Savage remain that duo around games who want to get these opening picks.
Logic bombs will go off, so Solotov will immediately hunt for one of those players. He knows there's one sitting upstairs at Chimney. It sure looks like Adrian's silhouette, as Savage has now absorbed an awful lot of damage. Do they decide to scout for this raw? Do they go for it without any intel? Solotov taking some damage, so I think the jig might be up on his position as he entered in the basement under the eyes of Secret.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing there? Joom gets taken out by Savage. Is that a jump scare? That is a devastating loss for Team Secret.
It's just mistakes, Parker. They're trying the exact same defense that they just tried. I mean, there's some little tweaks, but in the end, Falcons are adapting to it too. They've got players in different positions. They've got Soltov coming up from the snow stairs as well, and then over to blue. They start to work Bride over this spot too. Lots of damage onto the buck, but no kills yet.
And now the Monty will continue to assert himself. Bride chasing away these defenders. A drop, but the Malusi is there. Mowgli slaughtering Solotov in this position. Savage redeems himself by taking out the captain of the Falcons. From long enough range, Hughes is able to control that SMG-12. He wants more, but he bites off more than he can chew. Adrian shutting him down. Now the advantage goes back to Team Secret. Bride with only Shaiko as his escort, but through the wall, Shaiko gets the job done. This one's gonna be tricky. Not inside the bomb site. This is not bar games, Jesse. With 30 seconds to go, they now need to pivot over towards Kitchen. They have to be wary of that main lobby player. Shaiko dodging in game, dodging in real life as the bullets go over his head. We've got to flush out Adrian. He's got to flush out Savage, and he has to do so quickly. Bride has the attention. Oh my God! Shaiko kills them all! Sacre bleu! 5 rounds for Falcons, 2 away from a 2-0 victory over their regional rivals.
He just does things that shouldn't be possible, Parker. Not from an individual, not from one man. He's playing, of course, somewhat with Bride. Bride's being that distraction on the shield, but everybody is looking for Shaiko. Everybody is trying to hunt him down, but it doesn't matter. He's still the guy to hit those shots. He's still the guy to step up, even when the time is low, even when he's got no teammates to play around. The 2v3 from Shaiko and Bride, it's absolutely perfect. And just watch these shots again, please. It's the long angle, and then he finally finds Adrian, who he had been fighting all round long. Great distraction from Bride, but Shaiko, such beautiful shots.
And yet again, I'm going to talk about the guy who's not getting all that love. You gave him his flowers, but Bride played that perfectly. He played it so well up library stairs to flush these players out. He's directly responsible for the Malusi dropping down and then ultimately getting picked off by Falcons. And then he perfectly draws out the last player playing on Fireplace in main lobby while Shaiko picks both of them off. Without Bride, that is not possible. Go back to Consulate. Talk about Bride playing inside of that small office connected to CEO. He was also a great distracting point when he went undroned. Then on the Tachanka, same thing. Bride had great numbers on Consulate. He hasn't really needed to do that much from a fragging potential here on Chalet. But boy, oh boy, is he finding ways to impact these rounds without getting kills. There is a reason why Bride is widely considered to be one of the best support players to ever touch this game, and moments that we have seen in just this series show exactly why.
Detected a bomb.
This looks like the team that's been to 5 grand finals over the last 2 seasons. They look absolutely unstoppable. Tacking to the basement now. Falcons need 2 more rounds in order to lock Secret down and kick them to the lower bracket. Drones are strong to start. Another shield being brought by Falcons as well. They are not ones to shy away from this. Goo mines in library, but not really an issue. They can start to take this space, and Noah's under fire.
Hughes is starting things off. Noah is gone. Again, another formidable player from Secret to die early. Solotov does not expect Joom on that roam. Impacts will go out. Damage has been done to Hughes, who is still in hot pursuit. Run as fast as you can. Falcons tearing through Secret, and just like that, it's all up to Adrian and Savage to hold down this bomb site. Half the round still to go, Jesse. I'm starting to smell a 2-0.
The electric types need to step up from Team Secret. They have to be able to get aggressive to get this man count back in their favor. The Valkyrie camera is unlikely to be so effective just because Lickback has hacked them, first of all, and Shaiko was able to see them as well with that scanner. So this information is fully in the hands of Falcons. Every advantage you could want. The time is excellent. The numbers are excellent. The operators are excellent. Still Kendall is to play with as well. I don't know what the win con is for Secret. It's going to have to be an amazing play.
I think you got to get a 2K with one of these Nitro cells, which will obviously come from a Falcon stack up. You can only be good enough for a single pick at that angle, and now Savage has given his position away. Out goes the Nitro, nothing to be done there. One more remains in pocket, but now Adrian is taking quite a beating in his position. Savage trying to stay alive as best as he can as 3 players from Falcons all stacked up by that wine wall, looking for an opening, looking for an operator to find themselves in the wrong side of their crosshairs. Shaiko and Uzis have been taking quite a beating, but they just rush in, and Falcons will ground the 2 electric operators on the side of Secret, finding themselves on series point.
They just can't be stopped, Parker. The momentum seems way too great at this point. The clear so fast through that top floor. And don't forget, Secret burned their attack timeout ages ago, which means they have no way to slow this Falcons team down. They've been incredible on the roam clear. The blitz coming out from Uzis, why not? He's already been so good so far today. On Chalet, it feels like Falcons have total momentum, total control. They will ban the Monty. I like the ban. The shields have been a big problem, but does it matter? Is it going to be enough when you still have the Blackbeard to play behind? You still have the Blitz to play behind. Falcons have been using these shields to get the space, and I don't think that's going to stop just because of a Monty ban.
I think the timeout is a perfect example of that. They were able, is a perfect thing to talk about. They were able to immediately convert 2 rounds off of it, but that's all she wrote for Secret. They have been held off the score sheet now for so long. Their confidence looks shattered. There's no energy on the team whatsoever. Motivation very clearly driving this Falcons team forward.
And is this not exactly what happened on map 1? I mean, Falcons go off to an early lead. We get attack timeout from Twister, and Secret get remotivated. They start to win rounds over and over again. But then once that momentum stops, once Falcons figure out how to adapt, and they don't even need to take their own attack timeout to do so, they just grab a hold of the game, and they never let it go until they hit 7. Secret have to find some way to grab that momentum back the same way that Falcons can. And even if they start to do that, Falcons have their attack timeout.
To their credit, Secret did win a round after Falcons took another round. So timeout was called, Team Secret wins a round. Falcons, or rather, timeout is called, Team Secret wins 2 rounds. Falcons win 1. Team Secret answers back. That did not happen on console. They won a couple rounds, then immediately they flamed out, and Falcons drove it home from that point on, largely enabled by the side swap. But here on the side swap, Falcons have won 3 consecutive attacking rounds on Chalet again. Chalet can be favorable to the attackers. It just looks like Secret are finally meeting their match. Falcons own them in EML. Falcons have owned them internationally, and it sure looks like they're about to hand Secret their first loss of this event.
Top floor bomb site from Team Secret, and they've got a couple players very far from the site. Savage all the way in the basement. You've got Joom as well, who's over the library side, but I don't think Falcons care about any of that. They're in below the site. The blitz is causing chaos. Saltov has been down. Adrian's done great work from inside of Dining, but he's all by himself. There's Liquefact finding Savage now. That flank up from the basement finding no value at all, and they pick up Saltov to keep that advantage on their side.
And now a flash over to Solarium, trying to get rid of that player from Secret who holds court in that position. They know they've got the Legion over there. Mowgli will draw even. Fire arrow's about to go out. Oh my.
Wow.
Noah's evaded in a pixel perfect position, and he will survive. Do they get the all clear to rotate in? What a spot for Noah to be in. I cannot believe he evaded those flames. Solitov now goes down to Joom's Toxic Babe. Noah persisting in this spot. Throwing out Gumine after Gumine. Falcons went for a quick swoop into the bomb site, but it did not work. Trying to take map control so quickly. And Secret have just held steady at this point in time. Leaky Fact very obviously wants this one away. Maybe his dinner plans, Jesse. He's about to find his third kill if he can catch Joom in his position. Noah and Mowgli, the only two still standing. So Falcons with players alive. It's all up to Noah in a 1v3, and he gets shut down. Team Secret undefeated no more. Mon Dieu, the Frenchman will play in front of a French crowd. Falcons continuing their winning ways, and they move on with a 2-0 victory.
Falcons look as good as ever. Liquefact hitting the flank halfway through that round made all the difference. They had no clue of his lurk up the blue stairs, and he takes that final round for his team. Excellently played attacks from Falcons all day long. They played 5 maps today, Parker. It was not a short day, but they never slowed down.
And I mean, hey, everybody's talked about the Falcons getting to France and lifting a hammer on home soil for 3 of the players, because hey, they've got a Turk and they've got a Brit on the squad. These two teams know each other so well. They collide in the EML, they collide internationally, but Falcons always has their number. Today is no exception, driven largely by incredible support from Usus and Bride. The Fraggers were able to play so well, and the Falcons take an unbelievable 2-0 over Secret.
Nobody played bad on Falcons today. They played extraordinarily, and Secret, you know, in the lower bracket, I'd be afraid if I was any other team, knowing these guys are coming down to face me for elimination. They are not out of the tournament yet. They will still play tomorrow, but man, scary spot to be for one of the favorites at this tournament.